Hey folks. Okay, we're on. We're recording. Okay, hey folks. Leave it here once again, just making sure that the camera's on. That the webcam is on and you guys can see me and hopefully hear me. Okay, yeah, volume's up. Alright. Alright, welcome back to another review, guys. For the superhero review. I hope you all enjoyed my review of Ant-Man and the Wasp. That is on my channel that I did yesterday. If you want to check that out. And guys, remember, it's Leo McNally 983 with the Max Profile picture on it. Thank you for the 242 subs, guys. Keep on subscribing. Let's just say excellent. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you for subscribing. Keep on subscribing and share my videos if you want to, and share my channel. Let people know about my channel. You know, I do appreciate it, and it helps me out a lot. And thank you for the support, and the views for the videos, and thank you for the 26,000 views on my Adventures of Sharp Boy and Lava Girl review slash epic rant that I did back, um, a while back, sometime last year though in 2024. But anyway, what I've been doing, guys, is a superhero marathon. I've been doing a superhero marathon. I've been doing what I call the 2010s era superhero reviews. These are superhero movies that came out in 2010 decades, starting with the year 2010 to 2019, and we're in the year 2018. After this movie, I got two more movies to go for 2018, and then we'll be on the last year for 2019, which will be the last year for the 2010s era superhero reviews. 2019 will be the last year, and then moving into the 2020 decades, I'll review movies that came out 2020 to the year we're in now, 2025. So, but we'll get more into those videos later down the road. Finish up the 2018 movies. Start with this one. This movie came out in October. This is a 2018 superhero film, directed by Ruben Fletcher and starring Tom Hardy, Michelle Williams, Riz Ahmed, Scott Hayes, and Reed Scott. And it is basically the Sony Spider-Man universe. Yes, this is the first film in that, and that is Venom. Or more should I say, vomit. This movie sucks. I hated this film. I saw this piece of crap in theaters, and I can't believe I did. Maybe I was just hoping because Venom. Yeah, you see, I'm wearing my Spider-Man shirt because technically he is a Spider-Man villain. They screwed the pooch with this movie. They really screwed up. I don't know why this got sequels, but because I guess you probably made money because the title Venom is all you needed. When you put that title out there, Venom, and superhero movies were a thing. You had Black Panther, Avengers: Infinity War, Marvel at the time. Those two movies made billions of dollars at the box office. So of course people were probably gonna come and see this. Because Marvel was on their A game, on top of the game of superhero films at the time. Yeah. Yeah. But again, this movie sucked. I really did not like it. But before I get into ranting about it, let's just talk about the movie itself. I said this is the first film, Sony's Spider-Man universe. So I guess this, and oh yeah, you make it PG-13. You make a movie about an anti-hero, but an anti-villain, like Venom. You don't PG-13 him, but I guess Sony figured because the success of the Marvel films, and since they didn't have Spider-Man, well, they still own Spider-Man, but Marvel MCU, he's worked on that. So they probably didn't have much property left. They probably were just thinking, Sony just came up with this idea. Oh, let's just make movies about villains, because people go for it. Let's just pick Spidey's villains and make movies out of it. I think A.B. Elward has something to do with it as well. But this is the first movie, then it's been like There Be Carnage, Morbius, Madam Web, and Last Dance, and Craven the Hunter. So it's six movies. Oh boy. I haven't seen Madam Web yet, but yeah, they want to do other movies, but I hope they don't. Yeah. But anyway, let's get to the production of this film. By 1997, David Escoria had written a script for a film featuring the Marvel Comics character Venom. The movie still would have sucked because he directed Blade Trinity, and that was a piece of shit for Marvel. I hate that movie too. That's rated R, but that film still sucks. Which was to be produced by New Line Cinema. Dolph Lundgren was taught to star in the film, which would feature the character Carnage as the main antagonist. The project did not move forward, and the rights to do this character because time 1997. This is before you had the first Blade movie, by the way. Yeah, and it was a time where Marvel movies, superhero movies were kind of, like with Batman and Robin, Steel, Spawn, Turbo Power Rangers movie. The superhero movies were not a big thing at the time in 1997. That was not a good year for superhero movies. They moved to Sony Pictures. Along with those with the character Spider-Man, of whom Venom is an antagonist in the comics. Eddie Brock, Delta Venom would appear in Sony Spider-Man 3, which Spider-Man 3 sucks just as much, which over Grace, who was just awful. Grace has had only brief appearance as Eddie, but became a major villain as both Eddie and Venom because producer A.B. Abra felt the series had relied too much on director Sam Raimi's personal favorite Spider-Man villains, not characters that modern fans were actually interested in. I'd rather go with Sam Raimi's. At least we had Doc Ock and Green Goblin. Yeah, despite his Power Rangers suit, Lemon did a good job. But A.B. Abra, no, we need to throw some villains in here that are interested in like. Raimi had been hesitant to explore the character due to his lack of humanity. Air revealed plans for a spin-off film focused on Venom in July 2007. And I blame him too. Sony was actively developing Venom alongside director sequels to Spider-Man 3 by July 2008, because after Spider-Man 3 was a huge disappointment, they decided to reboot the series, hoping the character would add to the franchise a similar fashion to Wolverine and X-Men films. Jacob Est, who had written a script for the film, but the studio chose to seek out a new writer for a different approach from that draft. It's his estate centered on Eddie's trying to reinvent himself as a hero with a tough waitress named Honey Cortez. Eddie would have gone up against Cletus Cassidy as an opera-obsessed killer who becomes Carnage after biting Eddie. He wrote the script with Grace and mind to return, while Martin DeVono was picked for Cletus, even though that would make sense since he blew up, and spoiler, in Spider-Man 3, Peter, Spider-Man throws the Goblin bomb and he jumps into the Venom suit onto Venom and they blow up and yeah, presumably they die. Maya Rudolph was considered. However, Sony was not yet convinced that Grace could serve as the lead actor in the film. Yeah, of course he can't, because he was a shitty Eddie Brock and a shitty Venom. Tom Hardy ain't no better. That September, Sony hired Paul Wernick and Reed Ross to write a new script, while industry insiders suggested that Grace should be returned for the spinoff, because likable actor could be sympathetic evildoer. Response to Venom co-creator Todd McFarlane, who I believe also created Spawn, you know, suggested that a Venom film could not do well with a villain as a central character. Makes sense. Warnock and Reese, they pitched an original story idea for the film to Sony. Reese described as a realistic, grounded, a little more dark take on the character. The pair of them worked on the outline with Sony and Marvel, who had specific rules about the villain and the backstory and stuff like that. They had completed the job in 2009. Fully were written for Stan Lee. Featured a sequence with a Venom symbiote. Sorry if I'm rolling around too much in this chair, but I'm scrolling around too much here, or just, yeah, sorry, jumps from body to body through a city. Each person that inhabits it becoming a really violent, striking someone else ends up jumping into it. Producer Matt Thomas said he was a journalist who got in trouble for it. Those hints to for the Marvel characters stay close to the Bible, stay close to the emotional story, and the rest is fun. Warnock and Reese had turned in second draft by September 2009. Reese said that Sony was pushing forward in whatever ways they pushed forward. A month later, Gary Ross, who was rewriting the script for Spider-Man 4 at the time, was hired to also write the script for Venom, also as well direct and producer alongside Erard. Grace was not considered likely to return to the role then, but the film started from the drawing board, looking to make the villain an anti-hero who becomes a defender of the innocent. January 20, 2010, Sony announced that the Spider-Man franchise would be rebooted, but Raimi decided not to come back to Spider-Man 4. By March 2012, same year the first Amazing Spider-Man film came out, Sony was interested in Venom and wanted to use it to capitalize the release of the first reboot of the Amazing Spider-Man. The studio was negotiations with Josh Trank to direct after Russell left to direct The Hunger Games. Trank was brought on following the release of Chronicle, his directorial debut, which was a great movie. But that didn't happen because, yeah, well, before Venom came out, he made Fan Force came along. So people like, I don't mind that movie for what it is. I'd rather watch that than this. At least that had interesting more story than this. Didn't piss me off like this did. If they're trying to make it like a mask, yeah, you trying to be the mask? Yeah, yeah. Y'all like it with these movies, and the mask is a better movie. Yeah, I know the mask, Jim Carrey's movie version, is a comedy, a lighthearted comedy with a good story. But yeah, and the character was a bit darker, killing people. But that movie was completely different and worked. In June, Aaron and Thomas discussed Venom connecting to the Amazing Spider-Man, similar to the MCU, film a crossover to the Avengers. Called it an Eddie Brock story only, which is stupid. See, I told you. Because Marvel was such a MCU was such a big hit. Oh, AV Edward. Oh, we give him his own story. AV Edward. Venom does not work without Spidey. Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna keep saying that a few times in this damn video. Sorry. Including Venom. They want to write a screenplay for Venom. Will be released as The Amazing Spider-Man 3, which was set for release in 2016, but however, that didn't happen. They underperformed as Sony, under tremendous pressure to perform a hard look at their most important franchise. The direction of the universe was rethought. The Amazing Spider-Man 3 was pushed back to 2018, and the Venom film, now known as Venom, was moved to 2017. Script is still attached to Rant. Revival. Venom was revived by Sony in March 2016. Tom, with art, of course, and Tom was on the project, producing the film. It was rewritten as a standalone film, launching its own franchise. Unrelated to Sony and Marvel Studios' new Spider-Man films a year later, Sony gave the film an October 5th, 2018 release date. First movie would not involve the new project. Venom was expected to begin a new shared universe within the MCU, usually aiming for its rated R small budget. However, 20th Century Fox's success doing with Deadpool, the first Deadpool in 2016, and Logan in 2017. Sony's director shortlist for the film was believed to conclude, known for his darker rated R takes on the projects. Tom Hardy was star as Eddie Brock in Venom, to be directed by Ruben Fletcher. Later to Sony's Spider-Man universe, Fletcher was chosen to learn research by Sony. One time a friendly character, Simon, the visual possibility of portraying Venom on film. Potential thematic ideas such as duality. They met with Sony beforehand. The same had been approached by Warner Bros. To make Shazam. Prior to directing Shazam over Venom, due to the film's crew considering people December have in New Line Cinema. The casting of Hardy was son, whose son was a big fan of Venom. Having he left the director. Hardy was paid $70 million for his involvement in this film. Hardy practiced martial arts and jiu-jitsu for 5 weeks for the role. Ray Evans was taught to join the film to play the villain, and Michelle Williams was too. Of course, the film was only a Sony project. Marvel Studios had no plans to connect it with MCU. However, producer Amy Pichelle clarified that Sony intended to have their films take place in the same world as the new MCU Spider-Man Homecoming. Carter was also expected to appear in the Venom movie at that point. Venom was considered a spin on a horror movie. Yeah. The film is based on the Venom Lethal Protector series. Spider-Man cannot be included in the film because of Sony's deal loaning the character to Marvel Studios. So because of that deal, they couldn't involve Spidey. But of course, Sony was going to make the movie anyway. They not only did they own Spider-Man, well they still do, but they had to deal with Marvel, so they couldn't add him in. But Venom, they were thinking, well, let's just make some movies with his villains. Yeah, because again, Sony is just like any other studio who don't want to listen from Batman and Robin. Too many cooks in the kitchen. Just the studio just heavily getting involved, and producers like Avi Aver who have egos and who just want to do it to sell the toys and make the money, and do not give a crap about the fans. Mm. Oh yeah, Venom's lines in the movies is eyes, lungs, pancreas, so many stacks over time. Was this from Spider-Man? Okay. Mm. Especially they were playing a huge world with many characters. It's important that the honor the violence of Venom from the comics, whereby people heads off and eats brains. It would be weird to make a movie with Venom if he wasn't doing that. Sony executives were reluctant to push this limit so far that the film wouldn't earn an R rating. They believe they were because this would cause problems for potential crossovers with the family-friendly Spider-Man. If you're gonna make a Venom movie, you have to make it rated R. So stupid. As well as other MC characters in feature films. So Venom was originally rated PG-13 with the violence toned down. Oh, it makes me want to bite the damn heads off of these executives. Sorry for saying that so violently, but yeah, this is the big problem. They're doing this just to make the money, of course. Filming began on October 23rd, 2017. Filming took place in Atlanta, New York City. Tom Holland spent several days doing Venom's production, filming cameo appearances Spider-Man for the film, but Marvel Studios asked Sony to include the scene from the final film. Yeah, there will be spoilers in this review too. Yeah, we do get appearance of Venom at the end, I think at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home or Doctor Strange, whatever. Harley Hardy recorded his lines for the symbiote at the beginning of each day. Played back to him through an earpiece on set during scenes with Eddie. The symbiote talk to each other. Eamon and Scott were confirmed to appear in the film 2018. I'm just reading. The film underwent reshoots in Los Angeles in June 2018. It was fully overseen by Hardy. Venom was one of the first films to take advantage of new post-production at Culver City, California, with two new theaters. Some of the effects were done by DNG, provided the visual effects for the film, and they couldn't call ILM. The human Venom was created with a digital model that includes rig simulation of the face and muscles. Venom is portrayed as being 7 feet 7 inches and weighing 500 pounds, 230 kg, with a smooth, oily black appearance. See the difference in the character's facial difference, comic to comic. Because Ryder's a minor character for the films, Cyrus had more freedom to develop his film appearance. He's a foot taller than Venom and most twice as heavy. Yay. Okay, well, for the character of Venom himself, let's see. Yep, character of Venom here. Always been my favorite Spidey villain. He's a symbiote that is his liquid-like form survives our bonding with the host. In this case, Eddie Brock. Alter ego is various host. He has powers as the symbiote's first human host. Spider-Man, limited shapeshifting camouflage. The Venom symbiote's first human host was Spider-Man himself. Yes. And then went on to Eddie Brock, including the villain Matt Guardian, Flash Thompson. Yeah, yeah, they did a lot of stuff. I don't really, yeah. The symbiote is capable of shape-shifting abilities, including the ability from spikes or expanding its size, as well as mimic the appearance of other humanoids if it is obtained the host. The organism can usually use shape-shifting abilities. So I guess there's been other hosts in the comics, not just Eddie Brock. And then Eddie Brock, as you see in the comics. Eddie Brock is a reporter who works for the Daily Bugle. Yeah. They do a bit more darker stuff, yeah. Yeah. But you could have done so much making this film rated R. Let me get before I get to the film's problems though. The film's marketing, there is a trailer or a commercial with Venom. Yeah, they did some commercials. See if I can find any. No, I looked them on YouTube some time ago. Sorry. Yeah, Venom at Cineworld. Some guy walking in the movie theater, then becoming Venom. And then, again, they sell a Venom toy with the movie. So I guess they were desperately trying to just get the cash in, I guess. Because they wanted to go with the PG-13. But anyway, we'll get into that later. I'm sorry. Wait for the cashier. Tom Hardy's a Brock Venom, and I did not care for his performance. I don't care for Tom Hardy as an actor. He was in The Dark Knight Rises as Bane, and he sucks. Yeah, never really been big on him as an actor. He's always British, Never been a big. I liked him in Star Trek Nemesis. I'll admit that. I didn't mind him in that movie. I also didn't mind him in Inception. Yeah, but I don't like him as Bane. I don't like him as Eddie Brock. His New York accent doesn't work. It's really fake, and it's really lame. Michelle Williams as Annie Wing. She's an attorney. I love Michelle Williams, good actress. Oh, she becomes a she Venom in the comics. She's that's why Betty Brock. She's the first character who goes the she Venom identity. Yeah. Michelle Williams, I think movies. Let's see, Awfully Great and Powerful. When she was a little girl, she was in the 1995 movie, which I think will turn 30 this year. Yeah, beautiful actress. Let's see. I know she's been in some movies. Yeah, like I said, Awfully Great and Powerful. Was she in a Halloween movie? I think she was. Let's see. Halloween H2O. 20 years later. That's a better movie than this. And like I said, she played the young stiff. Natasha Andrews' character in that movie. She was the young version. Yeah, oh, this movie does feel like a Species ripoff and Species 2, which are better movies. At least those films are rated R. Yeah. She was in Venom Let There Be Carnage again. And like I said, Ozzy Graham Powerful playing Glinda the Good Witch, and she was beautiful in that and worked really well with James Franco, in my opinion. Yeah. Riz Ahmed as Carlton Drake Riot did not care for this actor, but he's a genius inventor and leader of the Life Foundation, experimenting on the symbiotes. Oh, gosh. I'm just laughing at his hair in a picture I'm seeing. Oh, he's a rapper and a British actor. Okay, yay. Never seen any movies he's been in. Maybe Jason Bourne, but really don't care. Yeah. But yeah, we're getting to that. But Scott Hayes is Roland Treese, Drake's head of security. Don't know if I've seen this guy in any other movies. Well, he was in Jurassic World Domain, the last Jurassic World movie, I presume. Reese Scott is Dan Lewis, Anna's new boyfriend, doctor who's trying to help Eddie. Stan Lee does have a cameo, of course. I don't know if he produced this. He was in Venom, Let There Be Carnage as well. He's uncredited. He says that he did a voice for Venom: The Last Dance, but the Venom: The Last Dance, but was uncredited. Jenny Slate portrays Life Foundation scientist Laura Skirch. Let's see. Oh, beautiful actress, by the way, but completely wasted here. Yeah. I think she voiced Mary Bellwether, Mary, you know, Bellwether in Zootopia. Maybe Zootopia 2? Maybe she would come back as the character, but I guess not. Secret Life of Pets 1 2. She voiced Gidget. She's got the most cutest voice I've ever heard. I love her little adorable voice. She voiced Harley Quinn like a Batman movie. At least, you know what? Her voice is more adorable and very cute to listen to. Margot Robbie is just irritating in my ears to listen to. Miller Waters plays Maria. I don't know if I've seen this actress in it. She was in Ed. What was that? Oh yeah, it was a Tim Burton movie. Eraser with Arnold. Yeah, just being in quite a bit of movies here and there, I guess. John Jameson. Oh, oh yeah, yeah. Peggy Lou is Mrs. Chin. She'll come back. She comes back in Venom with the Carnage, Venom, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and Venom: The Last Dance. Woody Harrelson plays Cletus, Cletus Cassidy, who was like a serial killer in the comics. Yeah. Stanley has a cameo as a dog walker who talks to Eddie. We do have a clip from the animated movie Spider-Man: The Spider-Verse, which we this October. That movie came out in December. That was well worth a good clip to see though, but not a very big cast in this movie. It's directed by Ruben Fletcher. I don't think I've ever heard of this guy. Oh, okay. Let's see. Wait, directed Zombieland was fun. I've never seen 30 minutes or less. I didn't care for that movie. Never seen Zombieland. I've seen the sequel. Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Uncharted. Yeah, not a big on him as a director. This film has to have three writers. I'm like, really? We had to have three writers working on the movie. That is Jeff Pinker. Yeah. Jeff Pinker. Can't say his name right. He wrote The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is fine. I like The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I don't blame him on that one. The Fifth Wave in the Dark Tower, but I heard those movies were not good and they were flops. Never seen Jumanji One with the Jungle, the next level, but yeah. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I can't get entertainment, but that movie does have problems. You know, not gonna lie. Disturbing, Scott Rosenberg also was a writer on this film. He wrote films like Disturbing Behavior, Con Air with the with Nicolas Cage. Even Nicolas Cage is more of a badass in Con Air than Tom Hardy is. He's got that cool Southern accent. I said, put the bun down. I can't do it right, but that was a very entertaining movie. And the Jumanji movies from 2017, 2019. I don't know if I want to see those. Kelly Marshall. We're talking movies like Save Mr. Bank, 50 Shades of Grey. Oh gosh, Venom, Corella, and Venom Let There Be Carnage, and Venom Let There Be Dance. Says she directed that one. Yeah, I've seen Venom: The Last Dance film before I started watching the first Venom movie, and I didn't care for that. But I do enjoy Save Mr. Banks. Yeah, I haven't seen Corella. Venom Let There Be Carnage was not good. Didn't care for that sequel. Stories by Jeff Peter and Scott Rosenberg, based on Marvel Comics. Produced by A.V. Evar, who's been producing these Marvel movies for probably since the first Blade movie. And he's also going to produce the Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse movie, which is the third film in the Spider-Verse Spider-Man franchise, I guess you say. Matt Tomlish. Let's see, I feel like I've heard that name before. The first Amazing Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2, Jumanji from the General, Venom, Morpheus, Venom Last Dance, and Craven the Hunter. He was an executive producer on the Spider-Man Homecoming, Fresh Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man No Way Home. Amy Pichel was a producer on Ghostbusters, Fanbusters, Spider-Man Homecoming, Molly's Game, The Post, The Girl in the Spider Web, which I heard was not a good movie. Spider-Man the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, Venom with the Carnage, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and she'll be producing Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, which we won't get that movie till 2027. So, cinematography by Matthew Lipgut. Oh my gosh, did not care for his cinematography in this movie. Well, I bet the cinematography did look a bit nice. Some places of this movie. Number 23, he worked on Iron Man. You know, did the cinematography for that. And Iron Man 2 and Cowboys and Aliens, with Jon Favreau. In the this movie, Birds of Prey, edited by Marion Brandon. Working on Bingo, The Birds 2, Born to Be Wild, Thousand Oracles, A Thousand Acres, Mission Impossible 3, Star Trek 2009, the reboot, How to Train Your Dragon, the animated one, Star Wars The Force Awakens, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, Venom Let There Be Carnage. Wait a minute. Oh, never mind. And also edited by Alan Bergerton. Can't say the name right. Captain America the 1990 movie. Oh yeah, that was such a classic. Additional editor. Yeah, Kate Boxer 2, decent sequel. I can tolerate more than this. Dodgeball, True Underdog Story, Meet the Fuckers. Love those movies. Fever Pitch, Mr. Woodcock. I like Mr. Woodcock. That's a funny comedy. I love funny people. Long movie, but at least it has a story unlike this. And it's rated R. Yeah. Production companies are Columbia Pictures, Marvel Entertainment, Tennessee Pictures, Airway Productions, Matt Thomas Production, Picture Pictures. Oh my gosh. Sony distributor Sony Pictures releasing. It was released October 5th, 2018. It's 112 minutes long, about 1 hour and 52 minutes long of running time. The budget was estimated to be around 100 or $116 million, and the box office made $856.1 million worldwide. Well, that's the reason it got sequels because it made. Despite whether which you what was but I think the budget was $116 million, but it did make money, so that's why it has sequels. Yeah. Despite it did get negative reviews from critics. Despite that, Clark's performance and his character's relationship with him were praised. That's it. You're just gonna praise it for one thing. Yeah, I don't blame the critics rating this film. some of the some audience members just wanted to see the movie because it had more because it had Venom. Of course, because it had a potential to be a crossover, or because they were just fans of Tom Hardy. Yeah, it won an award for best work with a vehicle. That's stupid. Yeah, it won Academy Award for best with a vehicle. Yay, good. I'm glad it was nominated. Why? Why didn't get it? It should have got Ratsies. Mm-hmm. Yeah, or Stinker Awards, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, let's get into the plots now. So, if you've never seen Venom, the 2018 film, this is the first Sony Spider-Man universe, whatever you want to call it, movie. Before I get to my ranting and rambling, there will be spoilers in this review. So, if you've never seen Venom, please turn the video off right now for your own sake. I don't want to spoil the movie for you. I'm going to warn you two more, well, at least two more times here. There'll be spoilers in this review. So, if you've never seen this movie, and if you have and you like the movie, that's fine. We can agree to disagree. I don't understand why, but hey, to each his own. Anyway, the story of the movie is that journalist Eddie Brock, he's trying to take cards and drink. He's a notorious and brilliant founder of the Life Foundation. He thinks that he knows that this guy's doing stuff illegally and is doing some really bad things. Is a real bad guy, so he's trying to prove it, take him down because he's an investigator, reporter, journalist, whatever, with his own show. While investigating one of Drake's experiments, Eddie's body merges with the alien Venom, leaving him with superhuman strength and power. Twisted in a dark field by rage, Venom tries to control the new and dangerous abilities that Eddie finds so intoxicating. So he's trying to find information on Carlton Drake. Carlton Drake is coming after him to get his own hands on Venom. Drake's perception that he believes the world is on the brink of a meltdown, or that it's so freaking cliche, I guess you could say. But he thinks the world is a terrible place, and that the symbiotes, if we can bond people and humans together, we can coexist and make the world a better place. Blah blah blah. Yeah, he explains that he's trying to say he thinks that he's saving the future of humanity when he goes to the symbiotes. He thinks humanity's in danger, so he thinks it needs to be saved. Therefore, Drake goes up with the Rocket, who wants to get on this rocket, fly to space, bring all the other symbiotes, millions of them, to come down here and conquer the Earth, basically take over the world. And Eddie Brock, Venom, they have to team up and stop Riot and Carson Drake from destroying the Earth, the planet Earth, destroying our home. So, and he has to become he's an anti-hero that does, of course, bite people's head off, but in a PG-13 way. And he has to save the day. Mm. But I'm gonna get into the movie and I'm gonna talk about the plots. Plots give you that's the plot synopsis. So if you've never seen Venom, don't watch this review. Alright. Before we get into it, hold on, get another drink of water. I'm sorry. My eyes are getting a little out of focus here. It's hard to tell, right? One more time, there will be spoilers in this review. And read the description box below before you watch any of my videos. Also, remember to click the little bell and say all personalized and click that, because you'll be able to know when I do post on the community post for my next reviews, next videos, or when I upload a review or just any other kind of video. But anyway, Venom 2018. Let's get into it. So the movie starts off with space, with the opening titles. At least they got that from Venom does come from space. He does come from another world. And if you want to see a better version of Venom, I'm gonna have this Spider-Man and Venom saga. Yeah, Eddie Brock is a photographer, reporter working for the Daily Planet. He takes pictures like Peter Parker. He tries to set up Spider-Man for committing crime on the shuttle, from stealing something from the shuttle, getting his son John Jameson hurt, almost nearly killed. So it sets Spider-Man up, and then the symbiote suit goes on the Spider-Man, and yet later it was the symbiote, I think, episode. Yeah. If you want to see a better version of Venom, though, watch this. This got so much right. Venom's voice is great in here, by the way. And I'm talking about in the '90s cartoon. Yeah. The symbiote part one, two, and three, I think. They also have Carnage in here. Yeah, this show, and if you play the Spider-Man game on PS1, I'm not talking about Spider-Man 2 Interlude, but the first one, there's Venom in there. Venom is funny in there, uh, and Harry Osborn is Venom. And if you play the Spider-Man 2018 game, the sequel to that, Marvel Spider-Man 2, which I do have, I haven't played that game on YouTube, but trust me, Venom is much better in those games. He's a lot bigger too, you know, and he looks a lot better. And Venom looks awesome in here, by the way. I love the look of Venom. You see the spider square on himself? He can web swing. Venom can even turn invisible. Spider-Man can't even sense him. Yeah, they get the character right because without Spider-Man, there can be no Venom. But again, Sony won't care because like I said, there were times where Marvel MCU was making money, so they wanted to push it so they wanted to make it family friendly, PG-13. You don't do that. That's like when Joker came out or Deadpool. If they said let's make Deadpool and Wolverine, so let's just say if they make a Deadpool 4 one day, probably won't happen. But if they did, so let's make family friendly Deadpool. Let's make him PG-13. Let's make a Joker 29 that came out 2019 that was rated R and made billions of dollars at the box office. Yeah, because these Sony executives are idiots. Marvel needs to take all these characters away from them immediately. Hmm. But anyway, to get to the movie Venom, the movie opens up like I said, we're in space. It belongs, but this space shuttle belongs to the Life Foundation owned by Carlton Drake, who's trying to do experiments with the symbiote. You know, I'm gonna try to explain it because the story here makes no sense at all. It's trying to be an original story and it just doesn't work. It returns to Earth with four samples, but one escapes and causes the ship to crash. And one of them is this John Jameson, who is the son of JJ, J. Jonah Jameson, who's the da- who's the chief and editor of the Daily Bugle. So yeah, and by the way, J. Jameson is technically Eddie Brock's boss, but we don't have him in there since they don't want no connection at all for Spider-Man because these idiots don't read the comics or don't know. I've never read the comics of Spider-Man, but I do know with Venom, the symbiote goes on Spider-Man first, changes Peter's personality, makes him darker, nearly almost kills somebody. Hell, in this cartoon, Spider-Man, when he has a symbiote, he almost ends up killing Rhino, in a very dark way. He's like, I'm just trying to bring a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and he's gonna, you know, he's like, and he scares Shocker to death. He's about to kill Shocker. He's like, people can laugh and say so tough. He's like, Shocker, yelling. He's like, you can't do this. You're the good guy, Spidey. He's like, well, can I? I have the power. Yeah, but they can't go dark in here with it. You know, this is a cartoon show, but that show even got dark at times. So the movie does not take place in New York City because that's where Spidey's from, and I presume Eddie Brock is too. He's from California. They show that the symbiotes can't survive without an organic breathing host, so they have to have people, innocent people, homeless folks, to come in and do this. And it rejects it. Then you have Mr. Eddie Brock. You see Eddie first with Michelle Williams. They're together. They're engaged. You know, Eddie has his own show. His ball, wants him to interview Carlton Drake. He's like, I don't want to talk to that guy. I don't like that guy. He's a bad guy. He's a bad guy. He's like, Eddie, just go in there, do a good interview, ask him about the space shuttle. How's it going? Don't bring up anything you shouldn't bring up. You know, and him and Ann go on a date that night just to talk about their relationship. They go to bed together. They do this. We don't get to see Michelle Williams tits at all. We don't get to see her tits at all. I'm like, oh, right, of course not. I'm just kidding. What? She's a beautiful woman. Sue me. I'm a man. I like seeing a woman nude. Okay? Call me a freak. I don't give a damn. I'm a man. Show me them tits. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Call me a perv. I don't care. But yeah, they don't show that. After they're sitting together, he wakes up, goes in her computer, gets on her password, and I guess finds some information about Carlton Drake. She's preparing a lawsuit defense for the Life Foundation. Well, they talked about that too. Brock is interviewing about him. Carlton Drake's talking with the kids like, "You can change life. You can be cool." High five was a little girl. And after that, him and Eddie have this interview. Eddie tries to bring up these allegations about that he's doing tests to people. He's like, those are just rumors. Like, excuse me. He's like, you're finished. Is that threat? And yeah, because Eddie is an investigative journalist, right? But somebody he just is accusing him of crimes. You don't really have any proof. You want to get proof on the guy, you gotta get evidence. You have no evidence. He has no. And as a reporter, the source they gotta have a source, and Eddie doesn't have one. So the boss like says, he tells like he's like Eddie, you're fired. Have a good life. And he's like, okay, yeah. He gets along with the security guard or whatever. Tell him he can't forget about that. Oh, it's okay. It's just a bot. He's just irritating as well. Yeah, and he ends the relationship. She loses her job calling him a jerk. And I'm like, yeah, which I can't blame her for being mad. But then the film takes place 6 months later. I'm trying to make sure I don't forget anything. Um, Drake is still doing the symbiote trials of people. He tries to talk about the Bible, like Isaac and Jacob, when Jacob was going to, I mean Abraham and Isaac. Abraham was going to sacrifice his son, but he just twists the story up a little bit. And the symbiote tries to get into the guy, and it just goes with his stomach, kind of like Alien or Aliens. The only two great alien movies was Alien and Aliens, in my opinion. But Alien though. But the symbiote gets out of this guy, he just dies. And why can't it be like blood and gore? No, they have from that. It's just PG-13. It's like then Jenny Slate, who's the doctor working for him, thinks that he's insane. She thinks that he's helping him cure cancer with this, but Drake has a completely doesn't like humanity. Thinks that symbiotes and human can coexist, and he's willing to kill innocent people, bring homeless people in to test on them. If this doesn't make any sense, I'm sorry, because the story doesn't. It's the writing. Eddie's just, I guess, jobless, trying to find a job, living in a low down dirt department where he has to listen to a neighbor who listens to, rocks out music real loud. He's trying to find peace. He also misses Chin. She gets robbed. Eddie can't do nothing, so he's just hiding. He says, sorry, Mrs. Chin. Talks to this homeless lady. He's talking to himself. And Dora, Jenny Slate's character she tries to, who voiced Mary Bellwether, and Mayor Bellwether, and Zootopia, she disagrees with his methods and she wants to expose him. So she's trying to get Eddie to help out, break into the research facility to search for evidence. Eddie doesn't, at first Eddie tells her, piss off, I don't want nothing to do with it. He ruined my relationship. My whole life turned upside down because of this. You know, well, no, Eddie, you did it technically to yourself because you're idiot, you dumbass self. You had no evidence. You were just accusing the guy. You can't just say to somebody, oh, you gotta have evidence against somebody if they're committing crimes. You can't just really say they're doing crimes if you have no proof of it. That's just not the way things work. Yeah, Eddie tries to go talk to Michelle Williams. Meets her new boyfriend Dan, who's a doctor, a surgeon. And he says like, "I miss you." He's like, "Well, we're done, Eddie. I'm sorry. Bye, Eddie." And it's 6 months later, and she's already got a new man, a new chicken in the hen house. I'm like, already? Damn, within 6 months. But anyway, Eddie gives her a call, and she brings him in. They sneak in there, and half the time his performance is I would say Tom Hardy's performance is stupid. Half the time it's annoying. He talks about, symbiotes. He's like, we don't, he's like, ET, I want to go home. And it's like, what we call them symbiotes. And when security guards is not paying attention, she distracts him. Eddie goes in there, sees the homeless woman that he was friends with, that he bought papers from, named Maria. He says, help me, Eddie. He turns to the sound, and the symbiote's weakness is the sound vibrations. He opens the door, she attacks him, and Venom gets on him. Yeah, Eddie runs out of the facility. The security guards catch him, and he's doing like acrobatic jumps so fast. He gets out of there. Yeah. So Eddie runs home quickly. First thing he does is start eating food real fast. He even eats out of the trash can, nasty, overlooking rotten chicken. He starts eating the rotten. He starts eating out of the trash can. We see him throw up, and ew, that's why I got so. This is vomit. This is disgusting. I don't see him do all this crap. Yeah, I mean he could be eating. Ugh, it was just nasty. And then this reminded me of Catwoman from 2004 when she's got to deal with that guy on the, that playing loud music. Well, this is different though a little bit, but because he just yells at him, it's like, turn the music, run the Venom face and scares the head. Like, okay, man, I'll turn the music down. Yeah. And Venom talks to him, he's like, hi, Eddie. Sorry, Eddie. And Eddie's like, oh. I thought that was kind of funny. He tries to talk to, give Anna a call about it. They're having a date. Eddie is eating people's food, pushing people, eating their food. Jumps into this water tank they have for fish and crabs, and Eddie starts grabbing the live crabs and starts eating it. And Tom Hardy's performance here is just embarrassing and humiliating. They try to take him to go get a scanning done for his head, and he starts the vibrations, waking him like he's having a seizure. He said, Eddie, I'll give you a call later, okay? Eventually, for Jenny Slate's character, Dora, they find out that Dr. Skirt, you know, one of his security men, they find out what he's done. I mean, what she's done on information. They talk to her, and Carlton Drake's able to convince her, tell me who it is, and it's like, Eddie Brock, I really like you. Then he exposes her to that symbiote that, you know, he kills both of them by having it composed with her and basically murders her. Even though she says that she has a family, which we never see, but she is killed off screen. Next thing she does, see, Dr. Skirt died here. Because of the doctor, you obey me, you're gonna die next. Mm-hmm. Then Drake sends the mercenaries that working for him to retrieve the symbiote from Brock. Venom is almost saying, like, don't open the door. They try to shoot him with taser guns, but Venom fights back and I'm like having a punch or having things coming out of his body, you know, like slither snakes coming out of his body. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention here when Riot comes to Earth, he's like he eats a live snake, you know, chops a guy's throat in a PG-13 way. Venom attacks people, jumps out, running from the bad guys. Then we have a bike chase scene. Well, first when he's running from these guys from the facility, he's running out of the woods, bumps into a tree. I'm sorry, and it's just bad editing too. But when they go to his apartment, they have a bike chasing, which the film is the editing is terrible. I thought the cool scene though, as I'll admit, when he falls off the bike, then Venom's able to like grab the bike by using the long arm that he has. Yeah, yeah. Eventually, we do see Venom for the first time on screen, and this Venom looks awful on the CGI in my opinion. We see him grab the guy, about to bite his head off, and get shut off, and when Venom bites somebody's head off, it's done PG-13 way. There's no blood. Venom just runs off, swims like he's Aquaman, quickly in the water, and then Venom can come behind his back, like his face, talks to him, his I am Venom. You know, he explains that there's a comet searching for planets where the symbiotes can possess and devour their inhabitants. Venom offers to spare Brock if he helps the symbiotes achieve their goal, and Brock seems to enjoy it. He's able to get evidence of trade crimes for some reason, but the guy, his security guard won't let him in, but Venom wants to bite his head off, but he's like, no, no, And again, when Eddie Brock is running his mouth or talking to himself, people are thinking that he's completely, crazy. But Venom is able to jump him up there real quick. Venom says, "Your world is very beautiful up here on the sky." Then they have a plane. The plane has sound vibrations. Venom's like, weakness, and Eddie Brock comes out of Venom. Venom's able to catch him. Like, I got you. We'll be safe. And he gives the evidence to his boss. Here's the evidence, asshole. Venom calls him a pussy because he didn't want to jump out. That was a little funny. but stupid at the same time. And then you have these cops that are down on the spot, and Venom comes up, is able to they shoot these smoke grenades at him. So it's dark and it's smoke. So the editing is awful. The film is like the bad CGI is just like this the whole time in the film. Sorry, it's just like it's like very shaky in your face. And Venom is going to bite one guy's head off by the cops like no, because they brought in Venom and says no, we don't bite, and then Michelle Williams who's trying to find him because she got a call from Danny, her boyfriend, the surgeon, that he needs to see Eddie right away. So she tries to go get him. She's like, Eddie, get in the car. And he apologized to Anne saying, I love you and I'm sorry I miss you. I'm sorry for what I did to get you fired. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It's the symbiote is killing him basically. The first Venom is ready to attack. Dan is ready to attack Dan. But Brock said, Michelle Williams ever used this armor machine. She uses something to get him off. He's like, you try to kill me. You try to stab me. I'm so we're gonna take over. Venom or finished. Then he tries to go away, but he runs into conveniently in the elevator runs into Matrix Man. They shoot him with a taser, knock him out. Then the fourth symbiote Riot makes his way from Malaysia to San Francisco by helping from this helping body put a body to this little girl. Sees Drake and she's like, "Little girl, what are you doing here?" And then grabs Drake and this he gets the symbiote to him. He agrees to take Riot and a Life Foundation spaceport to collect the rest of the symbiotes and bring them to Earth. Drake would like to, I guess you could. Riot wants to eat humanity, take over humanity too, so they both have the same goal. Yes, but he's got Eddie captured. Eddie hits the security guard like, but headbutts him, and he's like, "I've had my axe." He's like, "Where's Venom?" And when Carlton Drake's on Carlton, transforms into right. It's like, "Where's Venom?" You know, he's like, "Oh, he's got one up his ass too," and they're gonna kill him, take him out of the back of the woods, kill him. But this when you get She Venom real quick that kills the security guards off, gives him a kiss. Venom tells stay there and say, "Eddie, I'm sorry. I'm a loser too, but we can work together." Well, what changed your idea? He's like, "You did." Venom says, "It's just two people in the same body talking in their heads." Uh, because even when Eddie is Venom, Eddie can talk to Venom in his head, and when Eddie is Eddie, Venom can talk to him in his head. I know it's confusion. Riot begins his plan to go to the spaceship. Riot, yeah, well, you don't see, well, you kind of do see it. You see Riot just stab on. One actor looks like he's Victor LaRue from, if you've seen Walker Texas Ranger, if you remember Alex Cahill, she had this man that attacked her in like 3 episodes, the trial of LaRue. So Victor LaRue, he's in this movie too as a scientist, but Riot like stabs him and just PG-13 kills everybody. Gets ready to go on the rocket, and Venom says he's got some stuff that they do stuff that'll mess your shit up. That shit you won't believe. It'll be tough to fight him though. He's very bigger and a little stronger than me, so it'll be a tough fight. And he said, "Fuck it, let's go save the day." Yeah, they just drop an F bomb in there. Okay. Since you want to make this movie PG-13, why don't you just have Captain America show up briefly and say language? And decides to help them too, but straight. I mean, you know, Venom and Rat sees for the first time. Like, Venom, get in the suit. It's like, no, we're not gonna let you do this. You must have a strong host, but not that strong. And they start fighting. Venom starts getting his ass kicked, and it's a bad CGI, awful fight. And Anna's watching on screen. She's like, Eddie, and they're trying to fight to go up to the shuttle. Venom's trying to take him down, but Anna pushes the button. I like it when she said bullshit, and she does push the button that stops Riot from getting up there. And the symbiote, separates Riot separates Eddie from Venom, even stabs Eddie. Well, a little later on, because when they get each other the body, Carlton Drake and Brock fight and get the fisticuffs, and he nearly falls down. He's like, "We're just saving the world. How you feel saving humanity?" And then he like kicks him like, "You talk too much." Oh, I never heard that line. Oh, Avengers Infinity War when Thor said that. No, about Thanos. Thanos is a way better villain, by the way, and looks much better and more realistic looking. I'm sorry, that doesn't make any sense to say that, but he does look a whole lot. Thanos is much more of a threat than Riot. Yeah, just like Drake, he's no Riot of a villain. Sorry, stupid pun intended there. Anyway, he gets stabbed, he dies. Venom brings him back to life, I guess, by reconnecting with him because Riot's attacking him. He grabs Venom, something like that. But eventually, knocked down if Riot's ever get there. Venom, he's like, Riot's like, no, and he destroys it, like cuts part of the space shuttle. He damages the probe where it takes off, causes it to explode, and kills both Riot and Drake. And they blow up, and you see Drake dying, being blown up, but it's terrible CGI. This explosion is some of the and fight scene is some of the worst. It's the worst climax I've ever seen in a superhero movie. The fighting is awfully edited. The CGI is terrible. Yeah, it's just terrible. And the villain dies. It's awful CGI. And he's like Venom, and we see that Venom dies. Hmm. They remain abundant, and they set out to protect Francisco, but they kill criminals. Of course, being the anti-hero that he is. Talks to Michelle Williams. She thinks that he's out. He's like, "Did you enjoy the kiss? No, I enjoyed that power. Yeah, it was good. It felt good." But they still might have a likeness for each other. But lives in he became cameo by Stanley, which I did like. And this was sadly the last year of Stanley's life because I think he passed away. I think in December. Stanley did. Yeah, yeah. Stanley passed away around that time, and it was sad. Sad to see. It was sad. It was good to see him though, saying, "Hey, don't give her up. Go for her." And the ending you have, he does return to journalism, and he sees Mrs. Chen being robbed again by the same guy who walks up to him. He's like, "Bad guy." He's like, and then he has that awful line saying, like a turd in the wind, you know, and bites his head off PG-13 style. He's like, "Mrs. Chen, I have a parasite problem." And I, Mrs. Chen, and him and Venom talk about the thing that's like ground you can't see people. There are good people and bad people. Bad people take care of, but good people we don't hurt. Then you have Cletus Cassidy interviews. He's like, Brock, writing his name in blood. He's like, come here. Oh, I want to see you. And Woody Harrison and Harrison that Cletus Cassidy, who will be in the next Venom Let There Be Carnage sequel, was setting it up for that, saying, when I get out of here, there will be carnage. Hmm. And then that's the end. Oh, and you get a little scene from Spider-Man's the Spider-Verse, which was nice. That's the only best thing you'll get out of this crap. Okay, let me get my final pen. Camera? Sorry. Sorry, my phone. Okay, let me get my final opinion on Venom. This movie. Alright. Venom 2018. This movie sucked. The story sucked because number one, you cannot have Venom without Spider-Man. Only for Venom to exist, you gotta have Spidey. Big, you know, you got to have Spider-Man. That's why this cartoon did it better. That's why they did a lot better with the Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man the game, the PS1 game. They did better versions of Spider-Man, and so did the Marvel Spider-Man 2 video game, and so did like I said, Spider-Man the Venom Saga game. It was perfect. It followed the comic right. Venom is not a joke in the cartoon. Yeah, I mean he doesn't really kill someone because it's a cartoon, but Venom looks a lot better. And Venom looks, yeah, the story sucks. The villain sucks. The story is about that he's a journalist living in California. He gets fired. That he wants people to coexist. That the world is sometimes we're on the brink of extinction. Oh, and we have to bring the same to save the world. Wow, the world's brink of extinction, so you have to kill. I guess Carlton Drake's saying killing millions of lives, and that coexistence will save the world. Oh, just like Ultron, who believed the world was extended and needed to be halfway destroyed, had billions of life, need to be destroyed. So you're basically just the same as Ultron. Yeah, but the story makes no sense. You know, it's just a frustrating film. It's boring too. It's Tom Hardy is embarrassing himself. His accent sucks. Tom Holland did it better. You should have had Venom in a movie. You should have had Venom in a Spider-Man movie. You should have had him in one of the No Way Home movies, one of the Homecoming movies with Tom Holland. Would have made more sense. If we would have saved the character for a future Spider-Man film to be done right, you screwed Venom up in Venom and Spider-Man 3 because Sony just shoved him in there, and now they just want to make his movie, make it PG-13. He's an anti-hero. Venom is an anti-hero. Yeah. And the direction sucks. The writing, all three writers did a crappy job writing this movie. Ruben Fleischer did a shitty job directing. Cannot direct a movie to save his life. The story sucked. The cinematography was fine in some scenes. During daytime scenes, it looked good, but nighttime scenes, cinematography is hideous. Yeah. The editing is just awful. Very choppy editing. Awful action scenes. The music score, some of the music score is decent in places like when we see Venom for the first time, but it's not memorable. And at least the best thing I say, this movie does feel fast paced. It is 1 hour 52 minutes long, but that's not such a bad thing. It does feel like a rushed movie. And the biggest problem I have with this movie is being PG-13. It seems like Sony, you don't make movies out of villains or anti-heroes, if you will. Yeah, if you want to call, well, Venom is an anti-hero. Like Deadpool was an anti-hero, but Deadpool, those movies were successful. They made money. The only reason this movie made $856 million because of the title Venom. Yes, people want to go see this movie because of the title Venom. Yeah, and they probably enjoyed, like me, probably enjoyed Spider-Man: Homecoming, thinking, "Oh, they're gonna do something good." No. Now, if Marvel had been in charge, they know they probably would have had a. You need to make a Venom rated R movie. Again, making it PG-13 just to be family friendly. You're just doing it because you think, well, family friendly, making it PG-13. That's good for the little kids. Venom is not a children for kids character. Yeah, yeah. So they tone down you turn the character into a wimp. You make Venom to steal stupid jokes. In the sequels, they have Venom do a dance with Mrs. Chen in the third movie, and that was stupid. You have Venom being funny. Venom can be funny, but it's completely done the wrong way. He's eating trash out of trash can, jumping into a water tank to a big tank of crabs and eating the live crabs, or him eating out of the trash can, and just lame action scenes and biting people's heads off in a terrible way, in a PG-13 way. Have you, yeah, Species 1 and 2? Species probably had a sequel because the first movie was successful. Duel, Deadpool 1 and 2, and Logan, 2017 before Deadpool. That movie was a hit. Deadpool and Logan, Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine, they're anti-heroes too. They kill as well. You can't make these characters give them their own movie. But we did get Deadpool. Deadpool and Wolverine was a lot better than this, by the way. Yeah, is it completely perfect? No. But despite that, at least it's rated R, and there's plenty of blood in it. You need that. What you should have done is have Venom be in the Spider-Man movie first, then give him his own movie. That would have made a lot more sense. And it's not even in the same universe as the Tom Holland ones. It's the Sonyverse, which is just stupid. I hated this film. It was boring. I don't care for either of these movies, so I don't know what we're talking about. Expect more rants to come. The villain sucks. Carlton Drake is forgettable. He's got the eyes, the big old eyes the whole time. You know, he's just very bland, not threatening at all. Riot is not a riot at all to talk about because he's very lame. He's just forgettable villain. He's just thrown in the third act of the movie. The film can feel completely rushed. They don't have a good story. That's the problem. Yeah, these Sony movies suck. I hope Craven the Hunter flops so badly. Matt Webb and Morbius went to theaters twice and flopped twice. So I hope Sony gets the point that your movies, I hope they keep flopping. Good. Let them flop the box office. People, please don't go see these movies. Let them flop. Because Sony's gonna keep pulling out this crap. They've been doing what for 7 years. releasing these crappy movies. Yeah, this might have been a hit because of Venom, the title. Because Venom is a big deal. It's a big deal for a Spider-Man villain. And when you make a movie, you make the title, people are going to go see it. And it's a superhero movie, so you have Black Panther Adventures of Infinity War, which made millions of dollars at the box office. And people must have loved those movies when they came out because apparently when they made Venom, oh yeah, let's go see Venom, yeah. That's why. Because of the marketing. But they wanted to sell it for toys and family friendly because PG-13 will make us more money, guys. Again, they need to. A.B. Edward, you need to write a book. If you've worked on Deadpool movies, I had to. I don't think he has, but he needs to. And learn to pay for Ryan Reynolds. Learn from the director, James McGowan. Was it who directed? I can't say directed. Take some notes. Ask them, hey, how do you make a rated R movie for an anti-hero? Is it good enough to be? Should it be rated R? Yes. Once you take some notes on how to do a good movie, because Deadpool 1 and 2, they had good stories. Deadpool had a real good story. And it was rated R. Joker, despite the controversy crap it went through, it still was a good movie. But a man loses his mind, and Joaquin Phoenix did a good job. And that movie was rated R. Hell, because you can't make movies about anti-heroes or villains. You can't make it. Anti-heroes cannot be PG-13. They kill. It's like the Punisher with Marvel, the Punisher 1989, the Punisher 2004, the one with Dolph Lundgren and Thomas Jane. Those are rated R. Yeah, Punisher Warzone is just a cartoon and stupid. I'm not saying that all rated R works, but you know, but this sucked as well. This was just as bad as that movie. They're different movies, but still, both have lame villains, and I don't like Tom Harley. Things I do like, I like Michelle Williams, but she hasn't much to do in here at all. She can't carry Tom Hardy's dead weight of acting, and his new accent doesn't work. Him being like, E.T., I'm like, it's just irritating and not funny. Riz Ahmed sucks as a villain. The guy who plays the her Michelle Williams' boyfriend in the movie, he's alright. Uh, Michelle Williams was the best thing about the movie, in my opinion. She was good. She is probably the only one trying here with the Bachelor. She tries. Very beautiful actress as well. Yeah. And I like Stanley's cameo, but that's it. That's all I liked. Other than that, my rating for Venom 2018, the first Venom, I'm gonna give this film a thumbs down. My rating for this film is 1 out of 5 stars. Yes. So if you're a fan of Spider-Man and you want to see Venom done right, forget this. Don't check this out. Watch Spider-Man: The Venom Saga. Get this on DVD on Amazon. If you hated this movie and you hate the Venom movies like I do, especially the first movie or the other movies, this is the real Venom right here, folks. Or if you got a PlayStation 5, you have Marvel Spider-Man 2. If you want to see Venom done right, play those video games. They're much done better, and they do much better with the symbiotes. And Venom is actually the real villain in that movie. And we see him you get to have a better fight with Craven the Hunter. Yeah, and it is pretty bloody, that little fight. Yeah. Venom is a lot more vicious in those movies. And here, you just water down the character, and you don't do that. Anyway, so again, my rating for the film is 1 out of 5 stars for Venom and a thumbs down. So if you like the movie, to each his own. But this movie is just frustrating. It's aggravating. It's a lame, stupid movie. Yeah, it's really vomit in my face kind of movie. Yeah. If you're a Spider-Man fan like I am, and you love Venom, Venom as a character, this movie just vomits in your face. So yeah, stay tuned. I got two more 2018 reviews. This is another Spider-Man. Well, this is a Spider-Man movie, not a Tom Holland one, but it's part of the Spider-Verse trilogy. The first one, uh, I definitely want to review this movie today, but it's got a good cast as well. Good voice cast as well. That is the 2018 superhero animated superhero film. Where we're going with that is the next review. So Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. So that's next. Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse is next. Trust me, this is a lot better than Venom. If you watch this movie, if you have this movie on DVD or Blu-ray, and I'm not gonna keep it no more, but if you do, fast forward through the credits, you'll see a little scene from Spider-Man Spider-Verse. That's also the best part about having that on DVD or Blu-ray. The Venom does show you that, so yeah. Spider-Man the Spider-Verse. This will be the next review. And then my last 2018 review will be starring Jason Momoa. That will be the first movie, probably the fifth or sixth DCU film. Aquaman will be my last 2018 review. And then we'll get into the year 2019. And 2019 will be the last year for the 2010s era super reviews. So 2019 will be. But anyway, Aquaman will be next. I mean, not next. After Spider-Man and Spider-Verse. So again, let me know guys in the comments down below. What do you think of Venom in your opinion? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Uh, do you like any of these movies? What do you think of Tom Hardy as the character? What do you think of these movies as a whole? In your opinion, what do you think of the other Sony movies? Spider-Man villain movies like Morbius and Kraven the Hunter and Madam Web and the Venom sequels. What do you think of them in your opinion? And once again, my rating for the film was 1 out of 5 stars and a thumbs down. So, and for the next, stay tuned for the next review. That'll be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Stay tuned for that. And then the last 2018 review after that movie will be Aquaman. So, coming up next here on my channel. So, thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. I am Levi. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye. Bye.